Perhaps one of the most surprisingly overlooked features of strategic planning is that fundamentally, strategy is about making commitments. It's about making choices. But we make those choices, and hence those commitments, today based on beliefs about what the future will hold. And so as a consequence, we are necessarily forced to make choices amid uncertainty. What I found very helpful as a way to cope with that uncertainty is to actually put it at the center of the strategic planning process. It's not as though I'm the first person in creation to ever suggest that the future is unpredictable. Lots of folks have recognized that long before I ever did. The problem is that we've tended to glue it on after the fact. We build our strategic plans, and then we do some sensitivity analysis, we try and think about what could go wrong, and we come up with some sort of contingency plan. In other words, we make our commitments, and then we worry about the uncertainty we face as a result. What if it were possible instead to begin with the uncertainties we face, and then make all and only the commitments that are appropriate in light of that uncertainty? In particular, I find the notion of core and contingent strategic elements a very useful concept in coping with this in real time. So, for example, in the electrical utility industry, it can be very difficult to determine the assets to put in place today because they have 10 and 20-year lifetimes in a marketplace that is changing in many respects. Daily is a bit of an overstatement, but not much. As a consequence, what some of these organizations have done is used scenario-based planning to understand the uncertainties they face, and then invest today only in those assets that are valuable regardless of how the future unfolds. Those are what we would call core strategic elements. They then create options on those assets they might need depending on how the future turns out. Those are the contingent strategic elements. The only way you get to that set of realizations is by beginning with uncertainty rather than adding it after the fact.